You know how sometimes you hear a message and it just sticks with you? It doesn't just give you information, it actually makes you want to get up and do something. Well, today, we're going to pop the hood on those messages. We're going to look at the actual blueprint for what makes them so incredibly powerful.
So what is it? What's the secret sauce that makes one message just fade away, while another one can literally drive us to take action? We're swimming in motivational quotes every day, but some speeches, some stories, they have a special kind of power. They can change the way we see things. Let's figure out what that is.
And here's the kicker. It's not some kind of mysterious magic. According to the source material for this explainer, it's actually a formula, a blueprint really, something that can be learned and used to build an inspiring message from the ground up. All right, so let's get into it. We're about to walk through the 7-part blueprint for designing a message that really hits home, all based on our source material. This is how you literally build inspiration by design. So this is it, the motivational blueprint. You can think of it like a recipe, a super reliable framework that's all about turning an idea into a message that doesn't just get heard, but gets felt. And, most importantly, a message that gets acted on. Okay, so first things first, every great structure needs a solid foundation, right? In this blueprint, the first 3 steps are all about laying that critical groundwork. It's about grabbing attention and building a totally logical case for your big idea. And here are those first 3 pillars. First up, you got the hook to grab them. Then, the introduction where you tell them what you're talking about. And finally, the deep explanation where you convince them why it all matters. Each step builds right on top of the last one. And let me tell you, the clock is ticking. The source material is super clear on this. You have about 10 seconds to earn your audience's attention. That's it. So your hook can't just be kind of interesting. It has to be a lightning bolt that grabs them right from the get-go. So after the hook, you've got these 2 parts, the introduction and the deep explanation. The introduction is the what. It just sets the stage. For example, a speaker might say, opportunities are created, not waited for. Simple, clear. But the deep explanation, that's the why. That's where you build the whole logical argument for why opportunities don't just magically appear. It's the brains of the operation. Okay, so once you've laid down that logical foundation, it's time to move to what this blueprint calls the most powerful part of the whole thing. This is what turns a dry argument into a real experience. This is all about the story. You've probably heard this saying before, right? Well, there's a huge reason why story is right at the heart of this blueprint. You can throw all the facts and figures you want at people, but if you want your message to truly connect on a human level, you have to wrap it in a story. And listen, this can't just be any story. It has to be a relatable, real-life example that basically serves as a vehicle for emotion. So to keep our example going, the speaker would stop explaining that opportunities are created, and they'd start telling you about that time they got passed over for a promotion, felt totally stuck, and instead of waiting around, they taught themselves a new skill on the weekends and built a project that changed their entire life. That makes the idea real, personal, unforgettable. That's where the inspiration really comes from. So why are stories just so darn effective? Well, they build an emotional bridge right to your audience. That story about being overlooked, we've all felt that. It takes a big, abstract idea like creating opportunities and makes it totally concrete, which, by the way, helps you remember it. But more than anything, it creates a genuine connection. All right, so you've hooked them, you've built your case, and you've connected with a powerful story. What now? The final section of this blueprint is all about making sure that inspiration doesn't just fade away. It's about making the message stick. And you get this done with 3 final elements. First, you distill everything down into a few key lessons. Then, you give some real practical advice. And finally, you wrap it all up with a powerful conclusion that pushes them to take action. Now, this next step takes some real discipline. The source material is very specific. You need to boil everything you've said down into just 4 to 5 key lessons. This is not the time for a long list. It's about giving your audience clear, memorable principles to hold onto. So if we follow our example, the lessons from that story would be direct and punchy. Principles like proactively seek new skills or view challenges as opportunities. These are the core truths of your story that your audience can easily take with them. And that brings us to a super important distinction, the difference between lessons and advice. The lessons are the guiding principles. That's the why. The practical advice, that's the how. So if the lesson is proactively seek new skills, the advice would be sign up for one free online course in your field tonight. It's the concrete, actionable step someone can take right away. And that leads us to the grand finale, the conclusion. Now, according to this blueprint, the conclusion has one job and one job only. It is not a summary. It is a direct, clear, and powerful call to action. It's that final nudge that's designed to turn inspiration into actual activation. So after we've broken down this entire blueprint, from that crucial first 10 seconds all the way to the final call to action, it all really leads to this one question. And it's not directed at some hypothetical audience out there. It's directed at you. The whole entire point of a message designed this way is to make you ask yourself, what opportunity will you create?